My name's Adam, this is my reptile room, and today I'm going to show you all of the reptiles that I've got in my reptile room. Stick around. Alright, so we just walk into the reptile room here, and there you go. So it's a pretty small reptile room, and you can see there's a whole bunch on the right side as soon as you walk in. We've got a bunch of enclosures here. I probably should have cleaned the reptile room up a bit before I'd done this. So I've got PVCs on the bottom, as you can see, and then I've got a bunch of exoterras on the top, and we're going to change this around. We're going to get a few more PVCs, and then right straight ahead, that is my rack, and I've got a few ball pythons in there. Those are the ones at the bottom, and then we've got our hognose babies at the top, and we've got in the middle a whole bunch of baby leopard geckos. So let's go ahead and start on the right. Well, actually, I'll show you the rest of the room first. Got two racks right here. These are, well, a combination of storage rack, as you can see right there, and the 28 quart containers. So 28 quart bins are on this rack right here, and then if you go to the left, bam, that's where you got the custom made melamine enclosures. I finally put the edge banding on like 10 minutes ago, so I just gotta cut it, and oh, I forgot to do the bottom one. Good lord. So then on the one wall here, we've got just a stack of melamine enclosures. I made these with my dad a few years ago. They do the exact purpose that they were meant to do. And here we've got one of my favorite animals to look at, and she's getting really big. This is the boa constrictor, a BCI actually, boa constrictor and predator, I think is how you pronounce it. BCI, it's on the screen here. She's actually hiding in this little tiny hide, if you can believe it. She's in there. As you can see a bunch of footage of her right here. Really interesting to look at. She uses this climbing bit that I've given her right here, quite a bit actually. So she's got a bowl, she's got a couple of hides, she's got a loose substrate which holds humidity quite well, because BCIs do need a higher type of humidity and a higher temperature as well. And then let's go right below her. Alright, so it's kind of weird with the light behind me here, but what we've got here is the middle one. This is a banana ball python. This is one of my favorite animals to look at also. I'm going to say that for most of them. But he's very good looking. I got him at a rescue. I did purchase him from a rescue. And he is going to be a breeder ball python. He's going to be breeding with one of my females, or maybe several of them, because banana is a gene that is going to be passed on. It's not a recessive gene. I always get this wrong. Incomplete dominant gene, I think. We're going to put it on the screen just to make sure I got that right. And he is a little bit shy. Zapdos is a little bit shy. We've had him out quite a bit, but he is just digesting a meal. I fed everybody yesterday. So let's move on from him and go down to the next snake. All right, so we're right on the floor now, and this enclosure right here, this is Medusa's enclosure. Great enclosure that I made. Again, it's the exact same one as the top. The one in the middle is a little bit shorter. I made these for bearded dragons actually. So bearded dragons, they don't need a ton of height, but I did have climbing options for them, and they also need a UVB and a basking light, where these guys, it's not quite as important. They're not going to stand there with their mouth open like a bearded dragon would, but I do give them the option of having a little bit of height, and I have climbing options in all of them, like you can see over my shoulder there. So let's go ahead and move on to some racks. Oh, and by the way, if you're new to the channel and you like this type of thing, hit subscribe. Really appreciate it. All right, so we've got this rack behind me, and this is where we keep most of the adult breeder animals that I've got. So this is leopard geckos, and this is hognose snakes as well. So the one directly over my shoulder here, I've got some snakes in here. Maisie is on the top. We're going to be kind of short on her. I can't handle her. She is unbelievably timid. She strikes at me every time I try to go in there. She's very flighty, which is why last week we were talking about the best beginner reptiles. Like every other animal, they do have their own type of personality, and Maisie's personality is one that should not be messed with. As we get a little bit lower in the rack, you'll see that we've got one in the middle here. This is Arbok. He is very hissy. You can pick him up. He won't bite you, but it's not his favorite thing to be held. He is in the Tupperware enclosure right here. He's just kind of soaking it up. He's ready, or soaking up the humidity is what I should say. He's getting ready to shed, so we're going to leave him alone. We're not going to mess with him too much. It might seem like I'm blowing through these. We'll slow down in a little bit. One right now that we're going to slow down with is the one that I get asked about most on the channel. This is Arbok. No, it's not. It's Ekans. Ekans is a full-grown female albino western hognose. She pumped out some babies, which we're going to get to next. Beautiful animal. I love this animal quite a bit, but she is a little bit fierce when it comes to food. So when you see me taking her out with a hook right here, the reason for that is she might smell some rats because some of the animals didn't eat yesterday. So we're going to let her be. She did eat yesterday, so I want to make sure that she doesn't regurgitate her food or feel uncomfortable in any way. This is one of my favorite snakes. I got to put her hide in here yet, but she's just sticking in a 28 quart container. She's got EcoEarth or Beyond Peat as the substrate. That's what I like to use for them. It dries out nice. It keeps the humidity right where it needs to be, right around 40% for these guys. She's got a water bowl, of course. So let's go ahead and move on to the next animal. I should mention that we're going to go through all the reptiles and amphibians. We're going to go upstairs in a little bit too and go over some crested geckos, axolotls, things like that. They want a cooler environment than this reptile room will offer, and right now we're at almost 30 degrees Celsius in here, so it's too warm for those types of animals. So let's go through this rack right here. So on this bottom part of the rack here, we're going to go through it kind of quick because we've got quite a few animals to get through. This is Theodore, and he came for me from someone who just wanted to give him a good home. She was going to school, and I'm going to do just that. I'm going to set him up with a custom, well, not custom made, but custom designed enclosure, a PVC enclosure. And the reason I want to do that is because I think that he deserves to have an absolutely stunning home because his owner had a stunning home for him. Let's move on to Miss Noodle, who is beautiful. I love looking at this snake. A little bit skittish, this snake. We're going to clean out her enclosure because she ate yesterday. So we've got an EcoEarth substrate just like with Theodore, and her water needs to be changed too. We just changed her water yesterday before we fed her, and look at it already. So we're going to get her a bigger water bowl, and she's also going to be going into a custom-made melamine enclosure or maybe one of the PVCs. But I want to get all of the snakes out of the racks and put them into enclosures because look how beautiful this snake is. And she's a little bit more shy than some of the other animals, but beautiful nonetheless. And she's just about to shed, it looks like. So let's go ahead and move on. As you can see here, we've got almost 3 full rows of leopard gecko babies, and we've got 4 more that are ready to come out, but we're gonna start selling some of them, and you can see that they're numbered right with the date that they came out. This is Ollie, and you're gonna notice that she's got some stuck shed not only on her head but on her arm right there too. So I noticed this today because she was starting to shed yesterday and this hasn't come off yet. So I've put her in a very humid environment right here, and then I'm going to put her into a little bit of a bath, just a very shallow bit of water. I'm going to help her work that off because sometimes baby leopard geckos have issues shedding. So that's Ollie. This is Blue. Blue is one of the kind of newer animals, one of the younger ones I should say. I keep all my geckos kind of the same when they're babies on a white paper towel. And then they've got a humid hide, like you see right here. And then they've got a little cap for their worms. And then they've got a little cap for water as well, which I just took out because they're all getting their water changed. You know what? I think we're just going to go through the highlights here because I've got too many of these geckos. So let's move on. And here's Basil, who's showing some beautiful purple coloring. Just absolutely gorgeous. A female. And then, of course, her water dish is being cleaned with all the rest of them. But I think she is one of the younger ones. Yes, Basil was born in June, so she's not that old. She's got a little bit of stuck shed on that one hand, which I'm going to take care of after the video. So that's Basil. Let's move on to maybe one more before we move on to some pretty impressive animals. This is Eenie, and we're going to get to Meanie in a second, but I wanted to show you because Eenie and Meanie have very similar patterns, but very different colors. This is a dark purple on Eenie, and she was born on 7/31, so she's one of the younger ones as well. What a beautiful patterning. Her head is almost completely purple, has that banding, and then that like monocle looking thing on her back. So just to show you the comparison, right beside her here, this is Meanie. They came out of the same clutch. So this is Meanie, Eenie, Eenie, Meanie. I don't have a Miney or a Mo. But look at the difference in color. I'm going to keep both of these girls, I think, because they're absolutely stunning. One of them you can see is stripe. So she's got this stripe patterning down her. And then Amy here has a banding pattern. So, and one is an albino and the other one is not. So very interesting how they can come out looking so different from the same parents, the same clutch, born on the same day. Now, you know I've got a few baby hognose snakes. This one was cleaned yesterday and just took a nice little poo, so we're going to have to fix that. Unbelievable coloring. This is from just a simple albino to het albino. But her coloring, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, is very interesting. The patterning, very interesting. She's showing a lot of red. And I think this is a male. I don't know why I called it a she. But she's doing that cobra thing. You can barely keep her in frame because she's so darn fast. But that is Rhyhorn. This is Rhyhorn. And next we're going to move on to the other baby that I kept named Onyx. This is Onyx. And you can see the difference in the patterning. The patterning on Onyx is kind of sparser. The coloring is different as well. She's doing that slow tongue flick if you want to start doing it again. And she's hooding up a bit. She's gaining weight really well. And by she, I think this one's a boy too. He was changed yesterday. His enclosure was changed yesterday. He didn't poo in his, thankfully. And with the baby colubrids, the baby hognose snakes, I just have a water bowl, paper towel, which they can hide under, and a paper towel roll so that they can hide under there as well. Now, once they get older, I'm going to make it a little bit more elaborate, but for now, because I feed them 3 times a week and they poop so much, this is the way that they're going to stay. So this is Onyx. I cannot wait for these to grow up. I'm going to keep both of these guys and see how it goes. Alright, so we're back down on the floor. That rack we just looked at is right behind me here. And we've got also frogs. These are the noisiest animals that I've got. Let's turn you around here. This is Humpty and Dumpty. We're going to have to get some B-roll on these guys because they're hiding behind their waterfall there. They're in a 12 by 12 by 18 Exoterra. Very good enclosure for these guys, I think. They have a waterfall in there. I just feed them right off of kind of like their platform that they've got. They got a couple fake plants. I want to make more of a bioactive enclosure for them. It's just something I haven't got around to yet. But, I mean, these guys are pretty cool to watch. They jump around. One of them is darker than the other one is lighter. So it's pretty interesting to, like, just see the difference between the two. And one time I heard them croak. Actually, in my last reptile room tour, I heard the one start croaking, which I've never heard before. So they're definitely the noisiest species that I keep. And that is Humpty and Dumpty. So while we're on the floor, let's just go to the left a little bit here. And what we've got here is a het albino anacondomorph hognose snake. So you can see the patterning right there. And that's Nikki. And Nikki is in this just kind of cube-shaped 18 by 18 by 18 Exoterra front opening enclosure right beside Humpty and Dumpty over my right shoulder. He is pretty happy in here. I want to put all the hognose snakes in small enclosures like this. Not small, but the equivalent of like a 25-gallon. So this is Nikki. He's going to be a breeder next year. I'm going to put him with Ekans and see how that goes. I'm really excited to see the babies that they pump out. But because he's hiding right now, let's just go on to the left. Actually, let's go below us first. This one I'm pretty proud of. I didn't make the enclosure, obviously. It's a PVC. You can see it's pretty well lit. This is, if you want to watch in the top left-hand corner there, or right, or wherever it shows up, this is the ball python enclosure that I set up. I did a video pretty recently about it. Pikachu lives inside of here. He's hiding underneath his hide right there. We should actually open this up and get him out. So you can see him right here. There he is. So there's Pikachu. He's knocked over his hydrometer and thermometer right there, obviously. But we'll leave him alone. He is a ball python, which is a nocturnal snake. So we'll just show you him on another day. And as you can see, he's beautifully colored. And this is his enclosure. His humidity right now is a little bit high, 75. I just misted it. And he ate yesterday too. And it's 81 degrees on the cool side here. So that's what I always suggest. You can watch the ball python video if you like to know about all the temperatures. And along with the one beside it, who we're going to get to next, Irwin, you can see that it is quite spacious in there. 4 feet long by 2 feet deep by 1 foot high. And we've got the radiant heat panel above us and then some LED lights all the way around. which I'm going to have to do to Irwin's enclosure, which we're going to get to next. This is Irwin, and something tells me he's going to become the face of the channel because everybody loves him so much. He's a blue-tongued skink, an Indonesian blue-tongued skink, and he's also got a PVC enclosure. It's more dimly lit, which I'm going to have to change, and he's also got a radiant heat panel at the top. He is absolutely gorgeous. I love this animal. He's getting more handleable. I am working on him quite a bit, and he's got a lot of places to hide as well. Oh, there he goes with the tongue. Do it again. Yes. Very good looking lizard. I can't wait till he's super handleable and I can just have him out during every video that I do. He's working his way there. He's not quite there yet, but this is Irwin, the Indonesian blue-tongued skink. Still on the floor. We're going to build, so basically the two PVCs are beside each other on the ground, right behind me. And we're going to make two more. Well, not make two more. I keep saying that. We're going to buy two more and put them so that we have 6 PVC enclosures at least. And so it's going to be stacking on top of each other. And then we're going to have the enclosures that are on top, such as Humpty and Dumpty, and the open space that's right beside them, as you can see right there. And Nikki on top. And then we've got behind me, over my right shoulder, right behind me, a 2-foot high by 2-foot wide by 18-inch deep Exoterra enclosure, which is going to be made for an arboreal species. If you can guess what this species is, maybe there'll be a prize in it for you. I don't know, but just put your comment below what you think is going to go in that enclosure, which we're going to make a custom background for and make bioactive as well, and it'll be in this room. So there's some clues of what it could be. Last but certainly not least, the most shown on this channel are Sarah and Littlefoot. And Sarah and Littlefoot are two of my favorite animals. They're super calm. They are the first animals that I ever produced, ever. These are the first geckos I've ever produced, the first reptiles I ever produced. And they've got a little piece of my heart, and I'll probably never get rid of them for this reason. They are in the equivalent of a 40-gallon Exoterra enclosure together. They've got several hides. They've got a loose substrate. It's not bioactive, but they do have some plants in there. And they've got separate food bowls and separate water bowls. So they do have what they need to be cohabiting correctly, and I've done a video about that as well. You can see that in the top left or right or wherever the heck these things show up. So let's go ahead and move upstairs. Now, I did say that we were going to go upstairs and see the rest of my geckos and axolotls, but we're not, because I think the video is getting kind of long, and we're going to do, after the September Reptile Breeders Expo, this room is going to look a lot different. We're going to have something that's not a reptile that my girlfriend is getting, that I'm super excited about, something I've never had before. I've never had the species. I've never had anything like it. If you can guess exactly what we're getting, I'll give you one of these green WWR shirts for your troubles. Put your guess in the comment section below. So we're going to do an All My Pets tour at the end of September, beginning of October. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I might have a new animal or two, but we're definitely going to have something brand new that is unbelievable. It's not a reptile, but I'm so glad I can say that it's going to be living in this house.